joining us here today. We're glad to have you with us in our webinar today. Today's webinar is about bulk updates and mass adjustments. So we're going to go ahead and dive into that here. Kevin is with us, and he will be answering questions in chat. So hopefully that will be a good resource for you. Kevin's really knowledgeable. He's been with us for a long time, and just as one of the I guess one of the most knowledgeable people about our system here in UltraCamp. So we're going to go ahead and dig in here. I'll be leading. My name is Alex, and I've been with UltraCamp a while as well. And I'm excited about getting to share with you some things about our tools here today. So before we get started here, I'm just going to go ahead and share my screen. All right. As you probably know already, there are some things that you can add in bulk in UltraCamp. Like you can go in and you can add a session option to a bunch of different things here. And let's see here. I can go in and here are all my session options. I can look through my list, and I'm looking for one in particular. Of course, I have a long list, so it's a little, it's not as easy to find it as I would like it to be. So scrolling through here, there we go. I need to add my extra paintbrushes, and I can take and add this single option to a bunch of sessions at once. So I can take this.
Hey, Alex, I'm gonna
yes,
interrupt you here. Your screen is not updating here.
my screen's not updated.
Yeah,
okay.
We still are on the home screen here.
All right, let's try
refresh
that. Is that better? Thanks,
I
Kevin.
see your mouse moving now. There you go. Thank you.
All right. So I can go into the scheduling menu. Thank you, Kevin, for pointing that out. I can go to session options here, and I can schedule a single session option for a bunch of different sessions. Now I can take that, I can tweak that, and I can say I want this to go to all my Art Night programs. And when I click next, I can add it to a bunch of things at once. But what happens when you've already set up everything? When your sessions are already in place? And that's kind of what the focus of this webinar is today. What do we do when we want to make a broad change to a bunch of different things at once? And so today, I'm going to go ahead and take you through one of our primary tools for that, and that is the bulk updates tool. So if you go to the tools menu, you go to additional tools and bulk updates, you can see that we can bulk update a number of different items here. And we'll take a look at these together. So we're going to start off with scheduled sessions. Now, why might I want to bulk update scheduled sessions? Well, if I go back here to my summary of sessions, looking through, maybe I realize that my Art Night programs are, they have the wrong price. Or maybe we just want to change the price. Now, this won't affect any of the people who are already registered. But if I make a change here through the bulk updates tool, well, if I want to update the pricing so that any new registrants have a different price, I can do that by going to scheduled sessions. And here I can select my sessions that I want to change. Now, I have a pretty good list of sessions, and I can go through and I can check off one at a time and kind of hunt through here. I can even use, the browser controls to do a search for art, and it can help me through that. But we also have up here at the top this change filters link. Now, when I change filters, UltraCamp now lets me bulk update sessions in different seasons. I can so I can expand my list and change sessions from last year as well. I can focus in on a specific location. I can also narrow my list to a particular session template. And that can be very useful. Now I've got a bunch of session templates here. Now, maybe I just want to look at upcoming sessions. So I'm just going to go ahead and plug in today's date. And I just want sessions in the future. So if I apply those filters, now my list is shorter, isn't it? And it's easier for me to find my upcoming art camps. I won't affect my past art camps, just my upcoming ones. So I can go through here and it's just easier to work with. Now, if I knew which template and I'd use the same template for all my Art Night programs, I could have used that. That would have been fine. But now I can hit select and I'm into the settings that I can change. And we're dealing with scheduled sessions. So these are all of the different settings that can be changed. Well, we can change the subcategory, we can change age restrictions, dates, fees, and all sorts of things, payment options, limits. I won't go through every single one of these, but one thing I want to draw your attention to is that when bulk updating sessions, we are only updating flexible settings. The subcategories are flexible settings. You'll notice there's no option to bulk update the category. That's because the category is a fixed setting on our session template. And if you want to update a fixed setting, well, then you need to go to the session templates and session templates in the settings menu. And here we can go in and change a session template by clicking the edit icon here. And here we can change the category from another category to Art Night. And this will immediately affect all of the sessions that are scheduled using this template. This is true for anything in here. Right now, we mark this with a lightning bolt. So if we require only the deposit, we can change that to collect another amount. So anything in here with a little lightning bolt is a fixed setting. And I have to change that here on the session template as opposed to using the bulk updates tool. And any of those fixed settings that I change will immediately be true for all programs using this template. So that is, I suppose, technically another way to make a bulk change is to go through and change your template. So if it's a fixed setting you want to work with, that's the place to go. Again, settings, session templates, and session templates. But often we want to change the flexible settings, like the cost of a session, as I shared earlier. So I'm just going to slip back in here, scheduled sessions, change my filters, and we're going to go ahead. I'll put in our date. Oh, my browser's offering me the date that I used before, so I'll go ahead and take advantage of that. And here I can check off my Art Night programs. Well, and you'll see here that they say, some of these say Art Camp because they were scheduled with that template. And so it's different here now. So if I hit select, and let's say I want to change the fees from, I want to make the non-refundable fee $500. And the remaining cost, I want to make that, the previous cost of the sessions, I believe, was $3,000. I'm going to change these. I just want to change the balance. So we're going to bump it up here to $3,500. And to make a change to an item, we check the box to the left that signals that I want to change this particular item, and then we put our new value to the right. Now, if I were to change the group pricing structure here, the program I'm working with doesn't use group pricing structure. So even if I selected this, I wouldn't be able to make a change. That my change wouldn't save. So it is helpful to know a little bit about the program that you're bulk updating. Yeah, here we go. I'm going to go ahead and these are the only two things that I want to change. I could check more things. Sometimes you'll come in here and say, I want the paid in full due date to be, May 15. And this will change the paid in full due date for all 4 programs to be May 15. It won't have a different date for a different program. And this is an important thing to note about the bulk updates tool, is that it is going to put the same setting in place for all sessions that I selected. And UltraCamp will remind us of that on the confirmation page coming up next. But you can see I could change the capacities. I could change what activity group is being used for ArtCamp. There isn't one being used right now. I can change waitlist settings. Now I can even change the page order template. Now this is something that I think is in process because the page order template is a fixed setting. So this is, I think, in preparation for one of our new development aspects that we'll be rolling out. You'll notice here that we can't change the lodging group, and there's nothing in here about membership. So there are some things that are not in the bulk updates tool, even some flexible settings. And we'll take a look at those as well before we're done. But for right now, we've got our settings that we want to change. We've checked the box to the left. We've put in our new value to the right. And we've got all of that. When we're done, we click the next button at the bottom. And here, UltraCamp gives us a summary. It says 3-pack art night. Here are the 4 programs we're changing. The non-refundable fee is going to be $500. The remaining cost is $300, and the paid in full due date is now going to be May 15. So when I click process the bulk update here, UltraCamp takes me back to the beginning and gives me this little, hey, your action was completed successfully. So if you want to see what that looks like, I can go back to my summary of sessions page. And if I scroll down, here's our Art Night programs. You'll see that some of these took place before, and so they still have that $3,000. I didn't choose LithoCamp because it didn't have the word art in it. So I could go back and bulk update that. And I missed ArtCamp Painting too. So I updated several of my programs, but not all of them. So here we go. We've got 3,500, 3,500, 3,500. Oh, actually, I think I did update that one, but I suspect that we have an alternate price description in here. So if I remove that, because I didn't bulk update the alternate price description, if I remove that and we go back to our summary of sessions page, you can see now that all of these programs received that update. Now, again, this didn't affect the people who have already registered. And if I click this roster icon off to the right, we can see that even though we've changed the price to 3,500, well, if I go down here to session fees detail, and I click search again, so just take a moment here. We can see that these people have an old price. They are not paying the same amount that everyone else is. So yeah, so their fees are unchanged. And that's one thing that we're doing right now with the bulk updates tool, is we are changing the settings on particular sessions without affecting people who've already registered. And this can be done with scheduled session options as well. Now, at the beginning, you saw that I added for review here, I added this option for additional paint brushes. Art Night add-ons, extra paint brushes. And this might be a scenario you run into. Maybe you added, I added the paint brushes, and now I realize, oh dear, I did not put a cost in for those paint brushes that people are ordering. Let me check my session here. And if I go into the flexible, because it's a flexible setting, extra paint brushes, there's no cost associated with that. So I want all of my paint brushes to cost $10. So now this is a perfect opportunity for me to use the bulk updates tool to make a change to things that I've already added to the session in bulk rather than going through one at a time. So I'll go to the tools menu, additional tools, bulk updates, and I'm going to choose scheduled session options now. Now this is a great big list, kind of unwieldy. So I'm going to use that change filters feature again. And when I click that, I can scroll down here. I can narrow down my sessions, but I really want all of my extra paint brushes to be $10 for that's a pack of paint brushes. So now I can look for option categories. I can narrow them that way. But if I come down here to session option masters, I can uncheck all session masters, it says, but it's really option masters down here. And now I just need to find that paintbrush. And I use, because I'm on a PC, I can use Control F. This brings up a function in my browser that is a search function. If you're on a Mac, I believe is Command F, but I could be wrong about that. And you can see as soon as I type in brushes, my browser actually helps me out and looks through UltraCamp and finds that extra paintbrushes. So I'm just going to check that template. I want to change all the scheduled instances of it. So I click Apply Filters. And here are all the places where extra paintbrushes have been added. Wonderful. Now, if I can go through and check these boxes, but because I now want all of them, if I don't check anything and I just hit select, you'll see that UltraCamp thinks and knows that I want all of them. So here we're now in the flexible settings that can be changed on options. Again, we have subcategory. Unless the option name is not listed here, nor is the option category. Those are fixed settings. We can't change them here. Now, if I scroll down, flexible settings like visible to public, and just so you know, if I want to make sure they're all visible to public, maybe I forgot that too in my setup. I don't remember, but I do want them all to be visible to the public. So I say, check this box. Now, if I wanted to hide them from the public, then I'd leave this box unchecked. That would make them all invisible. But because whatever setting I check over here is what UltraCamp is going to change. So if I check the box, they'll all be visible to the public. If I uncheck the box, they'll all be invisible to the public. With visible to admin, if I check this box over here, it won't do anything because I didn't check this box on the left. Again, that left-hand checkbox makes sure that it tells UltraCamp that this is the item I want to update. So I'm going to make sure they're visible to the public because maybe I forgot something here. I don't want to mess with non-refundable fees because I know that in cancellation it can get a little weird. So I'm going to put everything in cost. I'm going to put $10 here. I don't need to, well, let's see, I want to say it's $10 for a pack of 7 brushes. Now, really, that should be in my option description. But that's not here. Okay, well, maybe I will leave that for the option description. You know what? I'll show you something else here in just a moment. All right, so I do want it to be $10. I want the description to be different, but I know I forgot that as well because I was in a hurry with the brush option when I added it. So that'll be a next step because that's a fixed setting. So anyway, we'll go to we've got our new cost in here. Availability, I know I put that in there as some big number because we'll just order them. I can click next down here at the bottom. And here UltraCamp shows me, okay, these are the options you're updating. And they are visible to the public, yes, and the cost is going to be $10. So I can process this bulk update. And now if I were to go into any of my art sessions and I go to additional information, session options, there they are, $10, but I don't have that description in there. Now, UltraCamp can change, with the bulk update tool, we can change templates, multiple templates at once. But in this case, I only want to change one template for everybody. And so I'm going to go back into not activity templates, but option templates. And if I scroll down here to Art Night add-ons, extra paint brushes, this is a fixed setting, has that little lightning bolt off to the left. I can put it $10 for a pack of 7 brushes. I scroll down here to the bottom, click Save Option Master, and now that change is true for all of my items. And if I go back in here into any of my, I'll go into printmaking this time. Oh, and it didn't add, I didn't add it, it wasn't added to printmaking. So we'll go back to painting. No. All right. 3-pack art night again it is. There it is. Extra paintbrushes, and we can see my descriptions now fit in here. All right, and if I go to the wait list test, this has a bunch of add-ons, but there are my extra paintbrushes. $10 for a pack of 7 brushes. So again, fixing or changing a fixed setting on the template is a great way to change that setting for everyone, for all instances of that template. But if I go back to the tools menu and I go to additional tools and bulk updates, you'll see that we have this additional option for changing option templates. We don't have this for session templates, but we do have this for option templates. And if I go here, we can see that I have a large number of options, and I still have that change filters. So if I wanted to change a setting on all of my art club dates, on the templates for those dates, the fixed settings, I can check that box to change the category. It's a little different here. Now, though, I've got all of my art club date options. And this is useful when you want to have the same item changed or the same setting changed for multiple options or multiple option templates. So I could go in here and I can actually change their category, but I don't want to do that because Art Club Dates is right. But I can say that our Art Club Dates, the club classes are from 10:30 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. If I can type correctly here. Now that description, which is a fixed setting, will be changed for all of them. Now, if I scroll down, you can see I can change flexible settings here as well. But this only changes the template. It does not change the scheduled instances. So if I want to change both the templates and the scheduled instances, it's a 2-step process here. I can scroll down to the bottom, click next. UltraCamp's going to say, okay, here are the options that you want to update. Here is what we're updating. We're updating the description, and we can process that bulk update. So we've looked here through these first 3 items: scheduled sessions, scheduled session options, and option templates. These are focused exclusively on flexible settings for items that you've already put in place. Option templates will change the templates in your option templates menu. It will change those and can change multiples of those. I'm just going to use my back browser button here. But it can also change flexible settings. Again, it's only doing that to these items here in the option templates menu. It's not affecting anything that's actually already scheduled in your sessions unless it is a fixed setting. And here we get to that tension with the fixed settings and flexible settings. Fixed settings are settings that are controlled by the master template. Flexible settings are your default information. So going back to our bulk updates tool, we can see, we have some great tools here for changing sessions and templates. Sometimes, though, you want to make adjustments outside of that. For example, we saw that in the report, and that the report, that roster that I ran for, and I'll just run this for all 3 Art Pack nights. If I run the session fees detail and I run a search here, we can see that they didn't pay the amount that is normally paid. Now this person did, they paid 3,000, but I've bumped the fees up to 3,500. This person is paying 3,340. Here's we've got someone with $360. So we've got some variations here. These people are all paying the old rate. Now there are some circumstances where you may want to change their actual fees. Now, and this is the bulk updates tools ability as well. We can change the basic fees on sessions. Now we need a stored group to do this. So what I should have done is going to go back and show you how to do that. Now this tool should probably be only used in, I can't say emergency situations, but it's rare that you would use this aspect of the bulk updates tool. But it is useful sometimes. So I'm going to go with these again and search. Now, let me add those session fees details in again. And I'm going to store this information. And this will take a snapshot of that data, save it for about 24 hours, and allows me to do some advanced work with an UltraCam. Now, if I click the binoculars here next to Leo Barnes, I'll jump into Leo's reservation, and we can see that his non-refundable fee, and then the supplies or basic fee, that's been adjusted by the template, the name here, those are $1,248. This is a little tricky because I don't know if you saw, but when I bulk updated, oh, actually, no, I think I did that. I think I did that right. Okay. If we go back here and we go to the fees, we can see that the non-refundable fee is $500 here, and the remaining cost is $3,000. So if I have a $1,000 non-refundable fee here, and I want to charge this person $3,500 instead of $2,248. I need to go and I need to be careful with my math when I go to the bulk updates tool. So this is part of why you want to be really careful when making these changes, because you are literally updating someone's fees on their reservation, fees that they didn't necessarily agree to when they made their reservation. So you want to, again, this is something that should be used sparingly and with great deliberation. Now I can't charge that same $2,500 here or $3,000 here because the non-refundable fee was only $500, whereas now it's $1,000 is what I updated it to. So now if I want to charge them a total of $3,500, I have to put in a different fee for those people to get the math to come out right. Because you'll see, as you can see here, we can only change the basic fees in bulk. We cannot change the non-refundable fee. So I'm going to go ahead and put this in. $2,500 plus a $1,000 non-refundable fee should make it so that everybody's fees are $1,500. So here we can see the list of everyone's original basic fee. We don't see their non-refundable fee, but I'm changing it to 2,500 because I've done my research now. This should, if I click complete modification, are you sure you want to do this? Again, very deliberate here. You want to be very conscientious about that. If I go back to their account, sometimes this can cause some unusual behavior, but we can see that it worked here. If I click, you can see I have the non-refundable fee of $1,000, the supplies or basic fee of $2,500. They also have a late fee of $5 here, which is why it's not a flat $2,500. And if I go back to rosters, session roster, and I click my art programs here and add in order total, we should see something much more uniform now. 3,500, there's some discounts on this one, but we can see that these are all at least close. And if I add in the fees detail and search that, we should be able to see here that there's 3,500 in basic fees for almost all of these individuals. So this person must have an unusual non-refundable fee, and we could go and dig more into that, but that's beyond what we're wanting to get into today in our look at bulk updates. We can use this the same tool to bulk update option fees. So I could use that. I would need a stored group that has option information in it. So I'd have to use a session options roster. So here we might choose our art club dates, and it's not even used this year. I can go into the past, and here are my art club dates. And if I click search, no one was registered for those, but I could create a stored group and change those. Again, this is something that should be done very carefully and deliberately. And so I don't know that I've even ever been on a support call. Well, actually, we did one last week where these bulk updates were done. They do have their uses, but they are few and far between. All right, I'm just clicking around here, and I shouldn't be doing that. So here, the last thing that we can bulk update are person custom question information. And here we can choose what from a roster, who we want to update, what the question is that we are updating, and what we want the answer to be, what the question is that we're updating. One checkbox, I'm going to change it to, well, we'll just leave that as it is. And then here, since it's a checkbox, a 0 means it's unchecked, a 1 means it would be checked. So I can just go through here and put 1s for everyone and bulk update everyone's their checkbox. So this is checked. So this is the final thing that we can use the bulk updates tool for. Now, there are some limitations to that. What if I wanted to add custom questions? Well, there was no place to do that. What if I wanted to add membership? Again, there's nothing in the bulk updates tool that lets us add membership. So in those particular cases where you want to make a sweeping change about something that's not in the bulk updates tool, we have to look elsewhere. If you're doing something with discounts, then the scheduling menu, discounts, and you can pull up the discounts here. And if we select early registration for all locations and I click load, you'll see that this has been added to several sessions. Now, I can tell which sessions are loaded or it's been added to by the box that is being checked on the left. And we can see the value on the right and the end date, and maybe it varies. If I want to bulk update the end date, I can come over here and say, well, we're going to bump this to 4/30/2023. And if I apply that, you'll see it populates to everything. When I save, you'll see here, if I save the modifications, it will only save to those programs. So if I load that again, you'll see it only save, that change only saved the ones that were checked. And you can use the column headers for anything in the simple discounts. So I can change the percentage to 12%, apply that to everything, and save those modifications. So that's something that you can do for simple discounts. This doesn't work for all discounts, but for multi-week discounts, if I choose multi-week discount, oh, hasn't been, I need to do all locations. So here, you'll notice there's no way to change the amount. I have to actually go through and change each one if I want to update that. I can bulk change for everybody the begin and end date for multi-week discounts, but the amount, there isn't a way to do that. And so there are some limitations on what we can, I mean, it's faster to do it this way than go into every session, but this is also true with things like membership discounts and actually this one, I guess you can use the apply to change it to 10, you know, or whatever, and make it the same here. Where you run into trouble is when it's already been added, and making bulk changes there gets a lot trickier. If you're wanting to go into something else, like I've already mentioned custom questions, maybe you've played with this before with buddy requests, and here we have 3-pack Art Night has all of these questions added, but if I want to add those questions to this program, to my other 3-pack Art Nights, and so I'm missing it for this one. If I want it to be the same, I want to have the same questions for everything. There wasn't a way to do that through the bulk updates tool. And here we have another use for the copy session settings. This is usually used for setup, but if I choose my 3-pack Art Night in the copy session settings tool, and I come down here and I can see it has those 8 custom questions that I want to add to other things. This also works for processes and additional fees and taxes. This can allow me to copy these 3 items to whatever sessions I want. Now it's going to copy all of them. So I have to be careful and make sure that I want all 8 questions to go to all of my art programs. And that does include LithoCamp. So I won't do a select all. Well, I mean, I could do a select all and then uncheck things that I don't want it to go to, but that's just too much work. So I'm just going to go ahead and check these. And now, oh, and I was going to check LithoCamp as well. Now, when I click the complete button, UltraCamp will copy those items to those sessions. And if I go here to scheduling again, custom questions, session custom questions, we can see now that, all right, that didn't copy over. Did I miss the other 3-pack Art Night? All right. Maybe I missed that one when I was checking boxes, but in any case, that's one way you can bring over these items. Now, this is also helpful for catching something that you've missed in setup, but we're getting late enough in the year that sometimes we don't. We're already past that point, and sometimes we need to go beyond just adding new settings to my session. You saw me add the paintbrushes in, and now I've added those in, but I have parents who've already registered for my art programs, and they don't have those paintbrushes because I just added those at the beginning of our webinar today. And if I run my report here of all of these ArtCamp individuals, and we'll just throw in painting and printmaking as well. If I run a search and see what options they have, of course they have additional nights and that sort of thing. Well, that's lovely, but they don't have that paintbrush. So I can take and store this information. And I might just want to check printmaking here, which I think is actually already passed, but let's go to my sessions here real quick. Oh, printmaking 2, but not printmaking. So if I go here to my options, Yeah, no paintbrush here. Didn't add paintbrushes to this one. But I can actually assign this option after the fact by going to the scheduling menu and doing the bulk session option assignments. Now, what this will do, this will let me do, is I have to go a session at a time. And really, I'm focused on this wait list test because that's where most people were. Art Night add-ons is the category I want to use. I can filter by gender, but I don't need to here. And I can use this where individuals in a stored group, so I could use with my art programs. And if I click search here, I can actually assign all of these people extra paintbrushes. Or maybe one of the parents, I've gotten emails from some of these parents, but not all of them. And so I can uncheck and say, okay, you didn't want an extra paintbrush and you didn't want an extra paintbrush, but the rest of everybody did. So now I can assign this selected option, and now you'll see I have 7 people who have extra paintbrushes. And if I go back to that roster and I select my art programs here, and we'll just stay focused on these guys, and I select options, we should be able to see that extra paintbrushes were added to these specific individuals that I selected. So this tool, again, here in the scheduling menu, bulk session option assignments, can be useful when you are assigning people an option after they've already registered. It doesn't affect people who haven't registered yet, because we don't have them in the system with a reservation, and it works off reservations, but this can be a useful tool as well. Now, there are also some reports that can do mass actions. We can, in the financial section, we can go to discounts, and if we have an early registration discount, we looked at that earlier, we only have 1 person, but you can see we have the approved checkbox. We can move it into a pending status. Most often this is used to approve a bunch of people at once. I only have 1 person with this discount right now, but you can use this to approve people, save their status, and approve multiple discounts at once. Another item that's sometimes used is the tasks menu. And here you can select 1 or more tasks, filter, if their ID person is in a stored group. And if we click search, we can actually complete their tasks here as well. We can mark them complete. You can delete them. I don't recommend that, but sometimes that's necessary to clean up at the end of the season. But right now you can say, okay, yes, we got all of these. Well, actually, we didn't get this one, and we didn't get that one, we didn't that one. And I can update the status. And I'm not going to do that right now because I don't want to mess with the data in here. But if I update the status, it would mark all of those as complete. Now, these are, I think, the majority of our mass tools, unless we start to getting into mass emailing, and that's beyond the purview of today's webinar. But we've looked today at how to go use the additional tools and the bulk updates to change your scheduled sessions, whether you're changing the age range or the capacity, or whether you're changing some of your waitlist settings, or even the fees and rates of your programs. We looked at session options and how to change those as well. We've got flexible settings there, additionally, and even you can update your templates in bulk. So if you need to go back before and change your templates, you can do that as well. We've looked at how to use the basic fees to change the reservation items, the person custom questions as well. And we've looked at how to use reports and the copy sessions tool, or copy session settings tool, to fix certain things. if you have any questions, I don't see any questions have come through here and Kevin hasn't messaged me that we have any questions here, but I was going to take this time to address any questions you might have. We have our Q&A that's open. You can type something in there, and we'll happily take the next 12 minutes here to address any questions you might have. I saw a hand up earlier in the program, but I think that that individual may have left our session. This will be recorded and it will be posted sometime next week within our help center. All right, are there any questions anybody has here? All right, I'm not seeing any questions come through. Trying to think if there's any other tools here that we have that can do mass changes. I guess probably while we're on the subject here, I'll just throw out a couple of hints and tips that I've found when it comes to scheduling things. Now, sometimes, and this bulk updates tool can be useful for this kind of thing. Sometimes you are offering a session option like our paintbrushes that there's not enough interest in. And because of that, you're going to have to discontinue it. Now, the temptation might be to go in to go into your scheduling menu, go to session options and session options, and remove paintbrush. Remove the paintbrush. Now, if I do that, it's going to start reversing fee. There could be problems with the finances, and so what I typically recommend is to not remove the option until at least you've communicated with the families and done your reporting there. In the meantime, though, you might want to make sure no one else is selecting that item that you don't want to offer anymore. So in that case, we might go in here to the tools menu, and instead of deleting or removing an option or deleting sessions or removing sessions, we can go to the bulk updates tool. I'm going to change my filters here. I'm going to scroll down to my options and find my paintbrush here. I'm going to use the shortcut here because I have so many options to filter through. Again, that function Control F is so handy. If I apply these filters, there's a key aspect of this, and it happens more often than I'd like to admit, but you have to uncheck this box right here, all session masters. You have to uncheck that one in order for the brush filter to actually work. So I have to uncheck the all. Now I've got just these. So what I suggest is taking it and making it not visible to the public. Whether you have a series of sessions you're not offering anymore or a series of options, this is safer than just deleting something straight away. You can make sure nobody else can sign up for it, but not lose your current records until you've had time to clean up, time to discuss with your team what the best approach is, and to communicate with those people that have already signed up for those programs or options. So this can be very handy for those kinds of scenarios. One other thing that you may find yourself running into here is you may find that your wait list, you're making changes to capacity as you get filled in and closer to camp. In these kinds of scenarios, you might be changing your capacity and tweaking it on a session by session basis, but the waitlist check only runs every morning. So maybe you want to kick those emails out and let parents know before tomorrow morning that, let's see here. I guess we don't have that on the bulk updates page anymore. I apologize. I was going to say there is a way to run that wait list check here, but I guess you do have to do that on a session by session basis. It's the waiting list enabled here, and I missaw that. So you can go in here and turn on your waiting list for multiple people, for multiple programs at once. Maybe you need to adjust how long the wait list space is going to be held. Instead of letting it be held for 3 days because you're getting closer to camp, you want to cut down on the time that people have. You're going to cut it down to 2 days. So you can change this for multiple programs here. So that's another one that's commonly used, is to adjust that piece as well. All right, one thing I do want to say here, and Kevin just reminded me here, there isn't an undo for these bulk updates. You can't go back and change, and well, you can't undo your change. Now you can bulk update again, but that's going to, bulk updating the fees for everyone. And I guess that's kind of a nice thing about the bulk update, is that if you make a broad sweeping change, you can make another broad sweeping change. But if you're changing any of these date items and you put all of your begin dates to January 1st, and you're running multiple weeks throughout the season, there's no way to bulk update everybody's begin date to be the same day that it was, or to be a different day from the other sessions. This only works across the board. So you want to be especially careful with the dates ones. I think that's where probably people make the most of their mistakes, is they are thinking about their registration begin, and we want registration to start on May 1st for our fall program, but they check the begin date instead and change this one. So now all of their sessions start on May 1st instead of registration starting on May 1st. So you do want to be careful about that. That's probably the number one undoable error that create. I mean, you can go back and change all the individual dates. It's a lot of work to do that. All right, again, I don't see a lot of questions coming through here. If you do have more questions, you're welcome to put them in through a support ticket. I think we're going to go ahead and wrap up here just a little bit early. I don't want to bore anybody here. Just going on about the changes that you can use the bulk updates tool to make. But I think we've covered it pretty thoroughly. If you have some specific requests about your organization, here's something I want to do, and I think the bulk updates tool will help me with that, but I'm not 100% certain on that. Can you walk me through it? I do recommend that you use when you're over here. Well, sorry, not the public view here. You want to just click that support icon up here, and you can submit a support ticket right here in UltraCamp and put a question in that way. You can hop into a chat, or you can give us a phone call at 888-791-2080 and just click 3 for technical support, and our team will get to you. Remember to leave a voicemail message if you don't get through to us in our busy season here. But yeah, reach out with a specific question. We're happy to help you. So I just got a question from Lisa here as we're wrapping up. Please review which changes will affect the registered versus the not yet registered. Oh, sorry, chat is disabled. Lisa also says it's the Q&A. So in the Q&A, Lisa's asked which will affect the registered versus the not registered. If I go to tools menu, additional tools and bulk updates, the only things that will affect people who are already registered are these bottom 3 items, which are rarely used. And it's only a rare circumstance that would require the use of these. And you can change the basic fees, the option fees, or the person custom questions. All of these items up here, scheduled sessions, scheduled session options, and option templates, do not affect people who are already registered. If I change the fees here, it will not affect someone who's already registered for that program. Their fees will still be on the old schedule. If I want to change their fees, I will. These are my only 2 options unless I go in and manually adjust their fees. So hopefully, Lisa, thanks for that question. Hopefully it answers just these three here. And they are very rarely used. I will use these 95 times before I'll use any of these once. So yeah. All right. Well, I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Thank you for joining us today. And I hope you have, if you have any questions or challenges, feel free again to reach out to us.